This is Tahnee Seagrave, my teammate, role model, I guess. Best mate, and yeah, all round good person.
This is Phoebe Gale, my annoying little sister that I never asked for. I guess you're my best mate too. Forced best mate.
You never really knew we'd get along until I was actually on the team.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just kind of got along really well. And now it's pretty sick racing with each other.
I think for me it was always a bit of I never really expected to have a girl on the team. Growing up, it was so rare to have a girl on a pro team anyway, so that's kind of why FMD started up, so that I could make a career out of it. So when Dad turned around and was like, usually I'm aware of every signing, and one day he just goes, oh yeah, so made this new signing. I was like, sick. And he goes, they're coming to the team camp this weekend. I was like, sick. He's like, yeah. Name's Phoebe Gale. I was like, a girl. And he goes, yeah. I was like, oh, all right then. And I was I don't know why, but there was something in me that was just like, I'm not gonna like this girl. It's like, I can't like her.
To be fair, it's quite rare that for both of us, I think, realistically, we actually really get. It's quite rare for me to really get along with someone.
Yeah.
Really get along with someone.
But I think when you're highly competitive.
Yeah, in that kind of way.
And from my experience being highly competitive, back in the day when I was trying to win and stuff, it wasn't a very healthy relationship with some of the other girls. So I was just very I guess I had a bit of a wall up, but you've done pretty well on bringing that down, I guess.
Oh, it was terrifying. I'd actually never really met you apart from that one fan photo.
Yeah. She got a fan photo with me.
Yeah, when I was 12, 13, yeah. And I never actually met you or actually met any of the team, and I just got a random phone call from, I got an email from Tony, and they phoned me, and I was just so scared picking up the phone. I couldn't get my words out. Still can't now, to be fair. But, yeah, I was terrified meeting Tahnee and the team. But yeah, it's mad how now 4 years on, we're all so close. And
I think we said that last year was, in a way, for me it was my comeback year, so it was in many ways. Sorry, it was crap in many ways. What was really good about it is it was kind of a really good introduction for me and Phoebe racing together, because Phoebe was finding her feet in her first year elite. I was coming back from injury, so there was no competitiveness to be had there. We were both on our own journeys, and we were super similar when it came if either of us qualified or made it to the finals, we were actually super similar in on race times. So, but at no point did I feel like I was trying to beat Phoebe, or I was just on my own journey. I couldn't think of anyone else really, and I think Phoebe was in the same boat because she was trying to find her feet in the elites, and so we were saying it was actually
the perfect.
Yeah, it was a good way
timing
for us both to for Phoebe to come into elites and for me to come back.
I think it's pretty natural for a competitor to want the new stuff. I think that old bike is unreal, and I mean I've been on it for it's my 4th year right now, so I'm super comfy on it. But yeah, I think every athlete would want to jump on the new stuff, especially as when Tahnee goes on it and says it's sick. It's obviously it's the new bike and all the new stuff on it. So yeah, I think every person would be yeah.
So I got it in February, so to me it was a bit daunting to get onto a new bike, but I did gel with it straight away, and it was quite. I'm not saying it was hard to but I didn't want to be on team cam and be this is sick, this is the best bike I've ever ridden, because aware that I had something that was very limited and couldn't be passed around. So I was very aware that I didn't want to take away from their work and what they were doing on the bike that they have currently that works very well. Sometimes we warm up together, but we're on our own vibe anyway, so there's no time to there's a quick fist bump before we drop in. But again, I think when you're at a high level like that, you don't really have time to think about someone else. And, once you're at the bottom and the race heads off, then you can start worrying about, hope she doesn't crash, or hope she gets down safe and all that. But you can't give yourself the time to think of that at any point in the race weekend, which is savage. But we try really hard, I think, to still be super compassionate towards each other, and we are there. I don't know, we still help each other a lot throughout the whole weekend.
Race weekends are gnarly.
Yeah, And it's nice to share the same feelings.
That's
so
what I
we're
think.
Going through it together.
I definitely took a lot from last year, was like someone going through the same thing I was. At the same time, being able to just talk about it and you being like, knowing exactly what I'm talking about. Because I think it's so rare that like, being in the same category, same race, same time, like,
yeah,
you could actually bounce off people. Like,
yeah, there's
each other
just a
very
mutual
well.
understanding, isn't there, and like a mutual respect for the craft that we're doing. And when it comes to race day, it's just like race head is on, and yeah, I'll be there for you, but we both just know that you've got to get your job done. No, if I'm thinking I need to go as fast as I can and win this race, it's going to go wrong. There's going to be so many mistakes.
Yeah, if you come into the race thinking you're going to win it, like, and if you come into the race, you can come into the race wanting to win it, but thinking you are going to win it is like two completely different things. And thinking you are going to win it just all goes wrong for sure. You can't come in thinking like that.
I think it's more when you try and overdo it, really, because there's like plenty of times where I feel like I've sat in the gate and been like, I can win this, like.
That's the thing, where you can win it, but
yeah, I don't expect to. I never expect to, but I'm like, if I have a good run, like there's a pretty good chance I'm going to win this, and that's the level of confidence I feel like you need to have, and like the belief in yourself. But I don't know, I'm not focusing on that. When I'm in the gate, I'll be like, right, let's go. But before that, I'll focus on each pedal stroke on the turbo, or because if not, I'm just going to go crazy. I'll focus on like every movement I have in my warm up. I'll focus on how much water intake I'm having. And I just don't think about it unless I like close my eyes for a bit and I like go through the track, but that's purposeful. It's not, I'm not just letting my like thoughts wander. Like I have to keep like, I don't know, a focus.
I don't know, I'm pretty like, as we've discussed a lot, emotion like led.
So you're finally aware of that, which is good.
Yeah, it's been 3 years, but
so
we're aware of it now.
That's the first step.
It's just like, I find that, especially in junior and a little bit last year, a bit less last year, but a little bit, just like my emotions just be like a roller coaster all weekend.
No, a lot less last year. Juniors was crazy.
Yeah.
I think you surprised a lot of people last year with how much you can actually like knuckle down, you know, when you need to. But I used to be like that. It's so easy to get led by your emotions on a race weekend. Everything's so heightened. I think from the outside you can never really see that. But when you're in it and this is your whole world to you, and it doesn't matter if you're getting paid or if your sponsors want you to do this and that, like your heart is so in it that it means absolutely everything. So
it feels like you're so sensitive to any emotion, and that every emotion is times by 100. So if you hit a line wrong that you've been trying all weekend, once that can, like something like that can just change your emotions completely, and that's what you can't. I'm learning to like not affect me so much. Like, little things like that.
You're a bit of like a wild horse, aren't you? You can.
I feel like as well.
If Phoebe gets a good run, then like it's going to be really hard to beat Phoebe. But I feel like I'm super consistent in my craft, and I'll just like slowly keep going up, and I don't really get distracted by much. Whereas you're like, mine's a like long linear, whereas Phoebe's will be like this to get to here.
You can literally tell by my results it's the same thing.
Yeah,
like, we'll have one race good, the next race like eh.
So in a way, as like a competitor for me, like if I was seeing Phoebe as just a competitor, I would see her as like, well, that's 50-50, so I don't really have to worry, you know. But that's true.
Yeah, fair.
I was like, okay, well, it could be a really good day or it could not, and then. You know, I see like, but I like to dissect people and like look at them and like I do a lot of like, I don't know, watching and learning. Yeah. I analyse a lot.
Yeah.
There's a section that I don't get good. I'll focus a lot on there until I get it right, because I just like, I hate having a big deficit. It doesn't sit well with me at all, and you know, my competitiveness comes out a lot there. But I think, I don't know, with our winter training, I feel like we're in a pretty good spot.
Cool.
We can only compare ourselves to each other, so I'm just hoping that Phoebe's fast so that I'm fast.
That's something that's been like sick this off season actually. Yeah. It's the first time that we've both been able to put times down against each other in the off season. So that's been pretty sick. Like to have someone that's like.
Yeah. Because I've never done like, in practice I won't like, I compare myself to the men, but I won't be like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this section quicker, or because I won't know. Like, I won't know if I'm like in a good time, or I won't care. Whereas like when we were training and Phoebe beat me in a sector, it didn't matter what my other sectors were like. I just had to go and win that sector. So I like had a good night's sleep, had a good night's sleep, and I was like, that sector is going to be mine tomorrow. And then I went and won the sector, and then Phoebe was like, how, like, but I was so driven to win that sector that that's all I focused on all day. And I think it's a bit of a compulsive obsession and like perfectionism, which can sometimes go both ways. And a lot of the time I wish I was a lot more like Phoebe, who's just like, I don't know, I think I just, like I said, overanalyze stuff sometimes and there's no real answer to it and I should just like ride my bike.